Bloodshot is back
in Bloodshot Salvation #1.
You are now watching WhoDooTV.
Welcome back to WhoDooTV. I'm Hooser.
And I'm Jared.
Today we're talking about Bloodshot Salvation #1.
Yeah, a great book by Jeff Lemire with art by Mico Suayan and Lewis LaRosa with colors by Reber. Now this book doesn't come out until September, so we're not going to get too deep into any spoilers, but we may touch on some things that Valiant has sent out in promotional stuff themselves. That being said, if you want to get into this book blind and be out of any sort of spoilers and let this be a complete surprise to you, just hit pause and come back to us after you read the book in September. We'll still be here.
With this book, there's some pre-reading I recommend doing. You might want to touch base on Bloodshot Reborn, but you really want to make sure that you get on Bloodshot Zero. Bloodshot Zero ties up some loose ends from Bloodshot USA, and it discusses the fall of Project Rising Spirit and the Omen group that is there waiting in the shadows to take over for Project Rising Spirit. It also lets us know about Bloodshot and his girlfriend Magic, and they are pregnant.
Bloodshot Salvation #1 takes place in two different time periods. There's a future and a current time period. Mico Suayan is doing the art for the future, and Lewis LaRosa is doing the art for the current.
In the current day, Ray Garrison is trying to live the simple life. Him and Magic had just had their baby Jessie, but around the corner are some demons creeping up from Magic's past. And we also learn a little bit more about the Omen team and Scarred Man.
What was revealed in the Valiant solicitations of this book was a little bit of the future. We see Omen is actually after Jessie, and Jessie has all the killing powers that Bloodshot himself has. And then we also see Magic herself seeming to protect Jessie. And we also see that Bloodshot is not with them and may not be returning to them.
Seen on a lot of the variant covers of Bloodshot Salvation is Rampage, a new villain, and he looks good just like all of this book.
Absolutely. This book looks so good. The art by Mico Suayan and Lewis LaRosa just looks amazing. And Reber just putting the colors into this, it really just makes everything pop. You definitely get a different tone between the two artists with the different timelines, which I really appreciate. I think it's really cool, and I think it's a great way to separate those two.
From this book, from the very beginning, Lewis LaRosa was putting out some of his pencil work that he was doing where he's in a doorway, and it's just beautiful artwork all the way around, especially in the current time. Lewis LaRosa is easily becoming one of my favorite artists that he's doing interiors. His covers have always been great, but his interiors are amazing. And then I've always been a fan of Mico. His work in the future time is just, you couldn't ask for two better artists to be on this book. And Reber's coloring, like you said, comes right behind it, and it is a all-star cast on this book. And surprise, surprise, Jeff Lemire's writing is amazing again. This book just leaves me wanting more. It is a very well written book with such great dialogue.
And Jeff Lemire really put in some great non-verbal writing in this one, meaning there's a lot of really good imagery and symbolism, some of it a bit more veiled than others, but it just all comes together in just this amazingly cohesive book. Really good stuff.
Ultimately, the characterization in this is also really good, with the introduction of Rampage, Scarred Face, and then just Jessie alone. They all look really good. I'm impressed with the way each character looks in this book. Without spoilers, what do you think of Omen so far?
Omen seems a bit interesting. I don't necessarily know what their endgame is yet, but they seem to have that, and I'm looking forward to having that revealed more and more. Like, what do they want with Bloodshot and his family, and how are they going to do it?
Scarred Man makes Kozo look like a teddy bear. That's all I really see about it. I think they're just as evil as Project Rising Spirit, if not more. And I think Omen, all in all, is a great antagonist for this book and for the Valiant universe. I think it's time to score this book up. What are you giving it, Jared?
Hoosier, I am giving this fives. Fives. The art is great. You see the emotion. I mean, even in The Hound, the emotion is there. How can you put emotion in a dog in a comic book? It's amazing. The colors are great. The writing is phenomenal. This entire book is a treat. It's so good, and I'm so excited about this one. I'm glad it's an ongoing too, because I mean, if this was another 4-issue thing, I'd be very disappointed. I'm glad we've got 12 on the line already, and I'm hoping for a whole lot more. This is a great book. What are you going to give it?
I'm giving this book a 5. This is storytelling at its best. Jeff Lemire did such a good job on this issue with the art, the characterization, and the emotion is just great. If you read comic books and you're not reading this, you don't read comic books. Go get it. We're going to be getting some great moments in this book, but we have a lot of old ones in the past. What was your favorite Bloodshot moment in the past? I know mine was when he ate the cow to get some protein.
Yeah, my favorite was when he atrophied his own arm to eat the protein to heal up and continue to fight. That is freaking awesome.
What's your favorite moment? Put that in the comment down below. We'd love to hear it.
Favorite Bloodshot would probably come from Harbinger Wars during the Harbinger Protocol, where his face peels away. He basically kind of kicks Harada's butt a little bit. He comes back, but still, he throws the smack down. The face is peeled away, nothing but bones. It was grisly, but the kids still flocked to him. That was a good scene.
Okay, so one of the moments that was really, really cool, I forgot which comic it was, but it was one where it was the dog. The dog was, it's an illusion or a flashback to one of the things you don't know yet until afterwards. But that was probably a really, really cool moment. One of the other things was one of the death scenes and everything. Really, really fabulous. You know, it's kind of not really emotional. You're a guy, right? So you don't really get emotional. But it was kind of an emotional moment too. That's two. Those are two of the favorite moments with Bloodshot. Absolutely.
Awesome. If somebody's never read Bloodshot, what would you tell them about the character, and why would they want to read it?
He is one badass guy with emotion type thing. One of the really cool things is, forget which issues and everything, but you know, he's a soldier. He's trained to kill, he's programmed to kill, he's manipulated to kill, and then eventually, I believe it was Ninjak, who sort of comes and gets him and goes, hey, there's another side to everything. And so you get this guy who's a killing machine, yet he gets into that emotional aspect. So it brings depth to the character rather than just this killing machine type thing. So
he's one of the most badass heroes ever. Basically, the government kind of took this guy, put nanites in him, and kind of imprinted the way his memories were. So every time he went out on a mission that the government sent out on him, he thought it was personal. They were like, yeah, so this guy just killed your entire family. Go murder his ass. And so he'd come back and say, okay. And then they wipe him and do it again. And over until he kind of found out what they were doing. And he went on a vengeance spree.
Hey, if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button below.
There's also that subscribe button down there too. Make sure you punch that. We'd appreciate it. Follow us at Twitter at WhoDooTV, also on Facebook.
Yeah, and we'd like to thank our friends over at OutrightGeekery.com. Be sure to check them out. They got all sorts of nerdy stuff on there.
Links down in the description. Thank you for watching WhoDooTV. We appreciate you guys.